really is the first England football team to reach a World Cup semi-final, since the men's team got into the last four in 1990. So here to tell us more about the women's game is John Horton, who's the general manager of Reading Ladies FC or Women's FC?
Reading Women FC.
Can't believe there's a difference. Why is there a difference?
I don't know, to be quite honest. We've always been known as Reading Women FC or Reading FC Women.
Reading FC Women, that's it,
yes, because we are linked to the men's club.
I mean, Greg Dyke makes a point. He's written a long piece in the Daily Telegraph today about it. He's obviously very thrilled about how well they're doing. And he's saying it was, he can't believe that the FA actually banned the women's game 50 years ago.
Yes, yeah, frightening to think that, but you look at it now. I've been involved in grassroots football with young girls playing with young boys, and every year the FA are developing or allowing girls to play at the next age group, so we keep the mixed game going. And then when we get to seniors, obviously more of the girls now are staying in football because they're allowed to play with boys for that much longer. And there's more and more opportunities occurring now with the women's game, which is fantastic with the FAWSL.
So for how long have women been able to play with Reading then?
The girls have been going now probably since 2006, I think it was. Kelly Chambers, who's now our first team manager, was playing back then, and they've evolved through national leagues, right through to Women's Premier League, and then last year we started playing. We got our licence to play in the FA Women's Super League, which is fantastic for us. Yeah,
again, with Greg Dyke reminding us that the FA banned it 50 years ago, I gather women's football, or I was going to say ladies, no, women's football was very big in the war years and just before the war years. And then it's like when the men all came back from fighting the war, suddenly sort of the FA sort of, well, we can't have all these women playing football, for heaven's sake, it's not seemly. And they actually sort of banned it. And that must be why it's taken such a long time for women to sort of take their place again.
Yeah, I think so. And even now we're struggling. You know, our attendances at games in WSL2, attendances average around 400. In WSL1, they're between 800 and 1,000. But thanks to the BBC, the coverage has been fantastic of this World Cup. We've already had more interest, people buying tickets for our games coming up from July onwards. So it's good. But
yeah,
we don't compare to America in that sense. So it is building, but it's very slow.
Is bigger in America?
Yes, it is. Yeah, much bigger in America. They have a collegiate system, so the collegiate side, you know, their attendances are much bigger than our WSL attendances. They get very focused on the physical side of the game.
Well, their collegiate system, they're playing soccer in colleges, they do it, they've always done it bigger and better than us in a way. I didn't realise they were doing it quite so well with women, though.
Yeah, some of the top women's teams, they're getting 15,000 to a game.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, that's the worry, isn't it? That it's a bit like some of the sports that we went on about during 2012, that we were very keen on at the time, but we've not really supported them very much since. I mean, let's pray that the women do really well in the World Cup. But even if they did, even if they won, could we keep that momentum going? Could we keep the support that they need?
I hope we can. We're going to European Championship qualifiers next year, so there's interest there. I was at a meeting last week at Wembley with the FA Women's Super League General Managers meeting, and they're already putting in place systems, procedures to ensure that the women's game is viable and stays viable going forwards, planning, you know, long-term plans to make sure financially we don't see teams going out of business.
Because it often boils down to money, doesn't it?
Exactly, and that has happened in the American game. Although it's bigger in America, several teams have folded and then come back again, and they're constantly throwing money at it. The FA Women's Super League are very much, they don't want that to happen. They want women's football to be viable in its own right, and they're doing a good job on that.
Yeah, I don't know how you argue the money thing, because somebody was saying on the radio this morning that Wayne Rooney earns more in a fortnight than the entire England women's squad does in a year. Well, together.
Yeah, the majority of the women's squad will be full-time. Obviously, Fran is the only WSL2 player with us. The majority of WSL1 teams are all full-time players now, so they're full-time professionals, but the money they
won't be on the same sort of money as...
No, it is a sort of salary that normal people out there...
Is it a living salary?
Yes.
Yeah. That's good, at least that's a step up.
Yes, yeah, definitely, and those within the England squad will be on an England Central contract, so combined with their club wages and their England Central contract wages, it's very much a livable wage.
What's the attitude of the sponsors then? Because that's the next, place that money comes from.
This season at Reading, we've had more people inquiring about sponsorship. Maybe off the back of our success, and I hope off the back of England's success and the World Cup and the coverage the BBC is. The FA announced SSE to sponsor the Women's FA Cup going forwards now, which is a big coup. So there is interest, more so, and I think if England gets success tonight and get to the final, I think it'll be...
Well, and then the next thing is TV coverage, isn't it? And that's terribly, terribly important, and at least it is on the BBC tonight.
Yes.
As I said, the programme starts at BBC One 11:10. Kick-off is at midnight, and according to Greg Dyke, we all get a lie-in tomorrow. Not. We'll talk more about women's football and how we can all do our bit to support them in a couple of moments. BBC Radio Berkshire. And are you going to stay up late tonight and watch the football? It's the women playing in the World Cup final, and the England team are doing really well. They're playing Japan tonight for a place in the final, which will be against the USA. That'll be quite something. So we're talking really about how we can build on it, capitalise on this to get football in England and throughout Britain maybe more successful than ever. John Horton is with me, who's the general manager of Reading Women FC. Reading Women FC.
Reading FC Women.
We know what you mean. So it's really good. We're already there in the top 4 actually, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're ranked 6th in the world, so we've gone beyond our ranking.
Gosh, it could be really exciting.
So lowest ranked team in the semi-finals, but hopefully they can do the job against Japan. So what is the feeling at club level? And you must spend a lot of your time going out as well, talent spotting to schools and colleges and seeing. I know the mums of lots of little girls who nowadays in primary school particularly, you don't see, the girls are just as keen on football as the boys. There's almost no difference now. And if you ask the boys as well, they rank the girls' game just the same as the boys. But where does it change as they get a bit older? Definitely there's a dropout, very much so, on the girls' side of thing in around 14, 15.
Why?
Other interests. Interesting research has come out recently. The FA have launched a We Can Play campaign to try and keep girls in the game. And some of the research suggested the dropout from the game is parent-based. That parents don't see football as the game for their daughters. And even more so, the strange thing that came out was it was more so the father. The father felt his daughter shouldn't be playing football. That was the research that we saw last week that the FA.
I don't know whether I'm surprised by that or not. Isn't that interesting?
It was very interesting when we were given the presentation last week. It was very interesting to see.
I can sort of slightly see it, but gosh, well, that's where these women tonight could really make a difference.
We hope they can change the opinion. And I've seen on social media, there's lots of male figures out there tweeting. I know David Beckham was tweeting very much.
Well, he'll
so
want
last
little
night.
Harper to play football, won't he? I'm sure he will.
And very much so with the German national players. They were tweeting last night, wishing the German women the best. And the more that the male can get behind that on social media.
See, I was wondering, that there's this theory as well that a lot of girls generally give up sport at around the same age, and one of the, I know, they start showing interest in other things like boys and makeup. I'm sorry to sound, but they do apparently. I'm not the mother of girls, but apparently they do. But the other thing they found, for serious research found, was it even boils down to things like changing facilities at schools. There comes a time in a girl's life where you do want decent changing facilities, nice showers, nice proper private changing cubicles, place to do your makeup and your hair before you go out into the big wide world again. It often even boils down to that. We've got to understand it, haven't we?
Oh, very much so. And it is quite interesting. The women, Reading FC women, we play at Farnborough FC, which is a men's non-league team. And when we turn up there, often the first comment as you go in the dressing room is, "It smells of the men." But the guys at Farnborough FC do a fantastic job in prepping the changing room for us.
But it is a factor, isn't it?
Yes. Oh,
and it would be silly to shy away from the factor, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I won't deny it. You know, we have had it where there's back-to-back games where the men are there, and they have to turn around the changing room, and you'll see the girls are sort of saying, let's make sure it's clean before we go in there.
Yeah.
But the grounds we go to across FAWSL are improving in that sense. I would say more so, it's more awkward for me now than it is for the girls.
Well, because you're coaching the girls.
Yes, because I'm first team goalkeeping coach as well.
Can you still do your sort of speech in the changing room at half time? How do you do that?
Kelly does all that. She's first team manager. Our assistant manager.
So you're pacing outside, are you? And she's in there.
I'm in there when she's doing the talk. But we do have that point between warm up and the team talk where myself, Phil, and Ryan, who are male coaches that are involved with the team, we have to step outside whilst the girls get changed, and then back in for the team talk. And the same after the game. We're in for the post-match talk, and then it's out. Get your kit, get out as quick as you can.
Yeah.
So
I know. I mean, it seems trivial to even talk about it, but it's not in a way. It's the everyday life of what's going to become, hopefully, big business. Isn't it?
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so.
Yeah.
And I hope, off the back of this, people will come and watch Reading women. Wherever they are. Go to the nearest game and go and watch.
Well, it will be the televising of, for instance, tonight's game, and then we're playing. However we do tonight, we're playing Germany on Saturday. On Saturday.
Yep.
That's to decider on third and fourth places. Yep. And then if we get through to the final, we're playing the USA on
Sunday.
So crumbs. Really? So you might have to play Saturday and Sunday?
No, well, they'll only play one.
Oh, I see, sorry, yeah.
So they'll either play third or fourth.
Yeah, or second or first. Yes, absolutely. The televising of that might win a lot of people round. I mean, it is literally that, isn't it? You switch on, you say, I've never really watched the women's game before, let's have a look because everybody's talking about it. And then you actually find that it is visually exciting to watch. I mean, what's her name's goal in that last... what was her name? She did a brilliant goal. Can't think of it. For England, yeah.
Up front, it was.
It was on YouTube, and everybody's talking about it. On what was her name?
Completely slipped me.
Lucy Bronze's goal.
Yes. Not in the last game. Lucy had. She's been listed as one of the
couple of games
top
ago.
goals, top 10 goals on the BBC.
It was a brilliant goal. I seem to remember.
Fantastic. That was in the round of 16.
Right.
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely fantastic.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It might actually win people around and say, actually, the game is every bit as good.
Yeah, and I watched last night before the game, and they were doing the BBC's top 10 goals, and some fantastic goals in there. And I think there were 2 England goals in that top 10. One of which being Lucy's, and some of the others, phenomenal strikes. Everything from set pieces, some great set piece goals, volleys, strikes from distance. Really, really good goals.
Are we good at taking penalties?
Who knows? Let's find out. Well, let's hope we don't find out. Let's hope we see with penalties in the game. We get a couple of penalties in the game and get ahead that way. Whether Mark Sampson's been practicing penalties.
We'll see. Well, we'll talk a bit more about the action we might see tonight, because you've been telling me the Japanese are very, very tactically interesting. So we'll talk a bit more about that in a couple of moments. Right now, we're heading towards 11:30. This is tonight the first England football team to reach a semi-final in the World Cup since the men's team got into the last 4 in 1990. Here to tell us more about the women's game is John Horton, who's the general manager of Reading Women FC. If people watch tonight, it's England against Japan. How good are Japan? Because they're the World Cup holders at the moment, aren't they?
Current reigning champions, ranked 4 in the world. They will play a very different style of football to England. They move the ball very quickly, work in little triangles. If you've watched any of their other games, opposition teams have been chasing shadows.
So what's the idea there? They're trying to confuse and confound the enemy?
Just move the opposition out of shape. Can you unbalance the opposition?
Wear them down?
Wear them down a little bit, yeah.
Tennis players do that a bit, don't they?
Yes, yeah. And then in and around the box, they're very, very clever. So lots of combination play, very, very quick, very agile. So the England players will need to be ready for it and working hard, willing to work hard and not have the ball for long periods, because Japan will keep the ball and move
And
it around.
if, with any luck, we got through to the final and we're up against the USA, they're good too. What do they play like?
Yeah, former world number one team. Obviously, last night beating Germany was fantastic for them because they won that world ranking number one spot back. Last World Cup, they lost to Japan in the final. Very, very physical side. The American side of the game, they do work very much on building players' physicality, being very, very strong in the game. Maybe not as technical as the likes of Japan, and maybe I would say England. But very, very
Sounds
physical.
like it's got the makings of a good viewing. I mean,
Yes.
it should be good to watch.
Yes, yeah, tonight will be very exciting. See the Japanese come at England, and then maybe, fingers crossed, Fran is selected and playing up top, and she can beat them with her pace.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
And
Yeah.
cleverness, and get on the score sheet again.
I mean, you're coaching this afternoon in this heat.
Yes, yep, we'll be out there. So
Have you got any good tips for staying cool?
basically, same as Adie's been talking about, making sure you're rehydrating well. When we work with our academy girls at the John Madacey Academy, we make sure they're taking plenty of fluids out with them. Constant drink break. And when you can find the shade, find the shade. And we obviously limit intensity of work we do when it's obviously in this kind of heat.
Yeah. So
we don't have it too often.
No. Will you be letting your ladies lie in tomorrow? Lion for the Lionesses, says Greg Dyke.
Well, our girls will be training, our first team are training tomorrow evening, between
Tomorrow
8
evening,
and 10.
right.
Most of them have other jobs.
Yes, that's
so
true,
They're,
yes,
they're
of
semi-professional, so they'll be doing full-time jobs, so it's
Yeah.
up to them whether they stay up tonight.
True, yeah.
And maybe have a little Skyvault
I think
work in the
everybody will be
morning.
excited, won't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it, and it'll be first time since 1966 if they get to a final.
What's it like for you, being the coach of the women's team? Do you get stick from others? You know, oh yeah, he's just the ladies' coach, or do they really respect it now?
I've had that with people I've spoken to. Very much when I try and get interested in coming to a women's game, people say, "Oh, it's just women's football. Why do you want to do that?" And when I first was asked to be involved by Kelly, the first team manager, and also Jane Ludlow, who's now Wales manager, I was honoured to do it and have a go. I just thought I could bring something different, especially on my specialism is on goalkeeping. And probably one of the weaker areas of the women's game, and I wanted to bring in some of the stuff we're doing with the men and see if we can change that, and I feel we're doing that at Reading. But people's views are changing. Those that have come along to games, when they leave, I always catch up with them and they always say, actually, it's not what I thought.
Actually, it was pretty
It's
good.
better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and again, you see it on social media, and we have lots of tweets about, if the women are doing better than the men's team at clubs, you see people tweeting about that.
Well, they'll be tweeting about it tomorrow morning.
Fingers
not off.
crossed.
Yeah,
We'll keep our
absolutely.
fingers crossed.
Well, maybe we'll talk again. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much for coming
No
in.
problem. Absolute
And
pleasure.
get out there into the searing heat onto
I
a
will.
football pitch immediately.
Thanks.